What's going on, everybody? We're here at the headquarters of Reject Studios one more time to complete this Sonic debate series. Now, as you probably are aware, right now we don't have Michael sitting here next to me. I don't know where he's at. I'm just kidding. He's actually maintaining both audio and the camera this time. So we have a few technical difficulties as possible. So that's why he's not here. And let's go ahead and get started with this whole thing.
It's no use!
You, Mike, because he's flipping me off behind the camera. As always, my partner in crime, Michael, right behind the camera. Can't see him right now, but he's there, I promise. Anyways, we're here with episode 2 of the Sonic debate discussion thing. Now, where we left off was 06. Now, before we get into this whole thing, I want to make a quick mention of Sonic Unleashed, which was for, I think it was for PlayStation 3 and 360, but currently still in that generation. Make a quick mention for that one that we had decided to miss, because I know that everybody in the comments is gonna, get us for that and potentially other games that we had probably missed. But anyways, back to what we're saying. Sonic Unleashed, it's really not memorable. It's just not. Back on topic now, Sonic 06. Now, the dreaded game that all Sonic fans, I would like to say, just absolutely hate. Go ahead, from our usual structure was basically a pro and con list of this game. Since there's not very many good things about it, or a lot of good things at least that I hear, we'll go ahead and start with that. It still kind of felt like it was still a Sonic game, obviously by the title and by the music and by the actual what you're supposed to be doing. It is a Sonic game, it really is, but it's so different and it's so just broken in certain ways, and we'll get into that later. For the most part, I'm stumped really to think of good things to say about Sonic 06. Like I tell everybody else that would ask me, it would be just the fact that it looks cool. The opening cutscene for it is pretty well made. It was a little odd seeing Eggman as human as he looked in 06. I thought it was a little odd. Other than that, I thought it was the opening scene was pretty well made. As long as the first cutscene that they had made and the last one where they put a lot of their time into is where I give them props for that. I'll give them the credit where it's due, but it's like even the in-game cutscenes were not exactly up to snuff. I thought that those two were probably the better ones for sure. Like a little more cinematic and a little more well thought out and more detailed. Now, to the obvious part is the bad things of this whole game. Right off the bat, the thing that probably pissed me off the most of 06 was the amount of loading screens. You would start up a mission, have a loading screen, talk to that person, the old man at the town or whatever it is, for a couple, not even a minute, and then another loading screen. And this process would continue on and on and on and on and on throughout most of the game. Now, with that in mind, it's over time it just got annoying. Like, if I could be honest about it, it was just annoying to go through that many loading screens. And whenever it did load, you would have to, obviously play the game. You would get not the best mechanics. It was just odd. It felt very weird, like just playing the game. Like there would be certain instances where you would feel like you were doing things you weren't supposed to be doing, like running backwards or running through this certain section of the game that would make it feel like it was a little off balance. Now, I noticed one thing in particular with that was when you stood on edges of something, it would do this weird like flicker motion where it looked like there was like 2 or 3 characters, depending on who you're playing at the time was. Especially if it was at an angle. If it was at an angle and your character was right there on top, then it would kind of do this weird flickery motion. And even when you're running, it really had nothing to do with the game. but it was just another small mechanic that I wouldn't notice. And it's like we have plenty of people on YouTube that have like Let's Plays of specifically for glitches and paper airplanes. So basically, I was getting at just the overall flow and the overall mechanics of the game were a little bit sketchy, and let's be honest, that's all what we play the game for, is to play the game and to make sure it runs smoothly and you can go fast. Stop throwing things at me! So overall, it seems that I'm just flipping off. You're an ass, Michael. Stop making me laugh. So the overall, stop flipping me off. Trying to get this done here, Mike. You keep doing things. You done? We'll see. The downfall of this whole thing was just the fact that it was poorly put together gameplay wise. So when you tried to pick it up, you couldn't really do much with it, and that's all it really was. And plus, usually I would give Sonic games their credit for their soundtrack, and this just fell short to me. Yeah, there was a couple tracks on there I felt were pretty energetic, pretty high energy for a Sonic game, and it was just like, okay, I can still kind of play the game with this, but it wasn't anything that would even come close to previous titles or previous songs that they had released. That pretty much covers it for 06. A quick side note, I really like the Shadow's opening cutscene. I thought that was pretty cool. Other than that, that's, like I said, that's about it for Sonic 06. Now, we go ahead into the current, most modern game series character for Sonic the Hedgehog, and it was kind of odd when we first saw the first concepts, the first characters, voices, all that. It was just a little odd for all of us, I'd like to think. It's the Sonic Boom era. We got a TV show, we have a game out. It's just the character models themselves are already, for the second time, kind of, how do you say, besides, obviously, drastically changed. It was just, I mean, I wish I could have the right words to describe it, but it's just such an odd model and such an odd design. I just, like, why? Why do you need to do this to Sonic and all of his friends? Like, it's just odd. They look like they're like post-apocalyptic survivors or something with like the gauze and the scarves, or either that or they're like all pilots for some reason. I mean, I'm sure Tails would fit in just like that with his little plane and whatnot. Yes, buff Knuckles. I mean, Knuckles was already kind of big, not even that. It was just, it looks ridiculous now. You're like, oh, hi, what happened to you, Knuckles? That was the depiction of him, just kind of a slightly bigger than Sonic, more of a strength character, but this is ridiculous. The game itself, I might have said in the last video, I felt like it was a bit watered down, just kind of like, let's throw it together last bit, let's have running sections where it's like scrolling through high-speed courses, and then we'll have like the 3D like platforming type things. It almost felt like playing Sonic Heroes because I had the whole group, following around and responding to all the certain obstacles, and certain characters could do certain things, and it felt like a little bit like Sonic Heroes. So I was like, all right, well, that's kind of cool, I guess. But almost the same problem with 06 was just I felt like it was very watered down, and it was easier to play than 06. Like, you could pick it up and just run smoothly, but at the same time it was still not quite up to snuff as the other ones, unfortunately. Also, gameplay wise with Sonic Boom, it was more like it was kind of aimed towards a younger audience as far as I could tell. Like before, it felt like anybody could pick it up and just play it. As to this game was more of like, it was really brightly colored and there was not that much violence or anything like that. It was just, not that I'm asking for every single Sonic the Hedgehog game to be, you know, something out of God of War where it's just some Sonic fighting some ridiculous monster and cutting out his eyes and shit, but nothing crazy like that. But still, at the same time, it's like, just kind of up it up just a little bit. I will go on record and say I didn't finish all of Sonic Boom, so you can't exactly quote me on that. I haven't finished the whole thing. But I have finished all of 06 and everything else that we talked about. Sonic Boom is the only exception for that. To conclude this small series, me and myself and everybody else and I and other people's and Michael and that guy over there, that guy up there, I don't know who that guy is, but he's there. All of these people have a general consensus that the second gen Sonic the Hedgehog games were probably more the better years. Which comes to, I guess, a really good point for this whole video series was what next? What do we do now that we have a plethora of bad games and just a handful of good ones? I'm sure there's already videos about this and their thoughts and opinions of what they should and should not do with the series and the game, but in all honesty, it's like, you're not going to create the original titles, you're not going to create Sonic Battle again, it's not going to be the same thing, but honestly, it's like, why try to add all these new features and all these new things to it? And just for the record, why don't we just get rid of that Sonic Boom, this horrible character model? Can we just get him back to his previous look? That was another quick side note. 06, they didn't look bad. Like, the actual models themselves were okay. Like, they didn't look like too distorted or too lengthied out. It was pretty well proportioned, I guess you could say. So, I guess what it comes down to is your thoughts and opinions on the series. Now that we're done with this whole series, what's next for us? What's next for us Sonic fans? What do we do now? What do we say to them? How do we respond? How do we get our voices heard? What do you guys even want at this point for a Sonic game? Like, are we trying to go back to our old school roots? Hell, are we trying to go back and be like Sonic Generations, where we can just have both original and modern game engines just going at the same time? I mean, it's us as gamers, as the fans for the Sonic series. It's just kind of getting our voices and our opinions heard, and then hopefully going and following, not orders, but listening to the fans and getting what we are going to want as consumers. Now, it just ties in again with my previous question. What are we going to do? Now what? So, I'll let you guys decide that, and we shall see you in another video at another time before I get eaten by a stick figure monster. Play.